Hi, welcome to Natural Conservation Solutions. My name is Wendy Hayden, and today I'm joined by Carol Chittenden, and she works with the Empire State Consumer Project, and they are working on a petition with the FDA to try to get information on Miralax and neuropsychiatric side effects that have been reported for children. So, hi, Carol, welcome to my channel.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me a little bit about your group and about the work that you're doing?
Yes, we were founded in 1971 by a woman named Judy Brayman, who was a toxics testing pioneer. And we do lots of testing of consumer products to see if there are toxins in them, especially children's products, toys and clothing. We work on identifying nursery products that are out there that are dangerous in their design. We work to make people aware of the dangers of pesticides, and came across polyethylene glycol just because I was going for my own colonoscopy and started doing some research.
And polyethylene glycol is the only ingredient in Miralax and other similar laxatives. In other countries, it's known as Restoralax or Movasil.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I know from some of the things that I've read that even Miralax, when it is right off the shelf, that they have found toxic ingredients in Miralax. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the FDA did its own testing of 8 lots of polyethylene glycol laxatives and found ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol in every one of them. And ethylene glycol, just to remind parents, when they hear that and they think of antifreeze, they're not crazy. That is actually what's in antifreeze, the main ingredient. They did one more test after that didn't find those findings, but we've asked them to continue testing because, one test that's clear doesn't mean you're not going to find that again and again. So they have not agreed to continue testing to find out if there's any in there. But according to the U.S. Pharmacopoeia, it's allowed to be in there. They can have ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol in the product on the shelf.
The side effects and adverse events that are getting reported to the FDA for Miralax are similar to the same side effects that you would see if someone ingested antifreeze. Is that correct?
Yes. So and I can tell you what those are according to the FDA. I have right out of their mouth the side effects that they have acknowledged in children. Metabolic acidosis, it's a disturbance in the body's acid-base balance and causes too much acid in the blood. In some situations, metabolic acidosis can be mild, a chronic condition. However, it may lead to shock or death in severe cases. The neuropsychiatric adverse events may include seizures, tremors, tics, headache, anxiety, lethargy, sedation, aggression, rages, obsessive compulsive behaviors, including repetitive chewing and sucking, paranoia, and mood swings.
So I know you and I have discussed this privately, but my son was put on Miralax. I was told that he needed to be on it long term. He was 4 years old at the time, and he was on it for a little over 18 months. And during those 18 months, these are a lot of the side effects that we saw with him. He was having panic attacks, anxiety so bad that I couldn't leave the room with him, that he would follow me. And when I took a shower, he would have to sit on the bath mat or he would feel panic. He was having hallucinations. He thought he had elephants in his bedroom that were coming to get him, so he wouldn't go upstairs in our house. It got to the point where, he ended up going for an evaluation, and he was diagnosed originally with PDD-NOS, which is on the autism spectrum, and eventually with a full autism diagnosis. And I know that autism-like problems are something that some of the parents have been reporting that they see in their children while on Miralax as well. So in my case, luckily, I found a group of parents that were working to educate people on Miralax and the dangers of it. Got my child off with the help of an integrative medicine doctor. And over the course of the past few years that he's been off, he's 13 now, he's doing really, really well. And I'm not even sure if he would qualify with an autism diagnosis at this period in time. If we got him tested again, because he's doing so well. So if there are other parents that are watching this that are seeing your child struggle, there is hope, and there are things that you can do. On my channel, I have a lot of options for people that are looking for alternatives to Miralax. So if you're looking, I have videos titled Alternative to Miralax, but there's also things like magnesium. Natural Calm is an excellent supplement that it's not really a well absorbed magnesium, so it can work really well to help. It's an osmotic and it brings liquid into the stool and helps the child have a bowel movement. And it works, the way that Miralax is supposed to work, but magnesium is a natural thing that we already have in our body and we should have in our body, whereas Miralax is plastic and is not something that we should be ingesting. So how many reports of adverse events have you seen being reported to the FDA?
Adverse events for adults and children are up to 31,252 with at least one polyethylene glycol product within those reports, each report, including 117 deaths. And when we submitted our petition in 2012, this is how long we've been waiting for this study to be completed, reports were only 2,200, 2,257. So they've grown exponentially.
Yeah, and I'm sure more and more doctors are prescribing this for young children. I know I have had contact with parents where one parent, the baby was a preemie and wouldn't have even been out of the womb yet, and the doctors were already giving the baby Miralax. And so what is Miralax approved for children?
Yes, it's not approved for children. No, Miralax is not approved for children, and it's not approved for more than 7 days in adults. And children are being put on it. Now, earlier we had heard 6 months and up, so you're saying even younger than that. And they shouldn't be on it in the first place, but adults shouldn't be on it for more than 7 days, because then you should be addressing it through other means, finding out what the root cause of the constipation is. Children are on it for years and years and years at a time, 4 or 5 years. And parents are noticing extreme behavior changes. Kids are being called from, or parents are being called from the school saying, come pick up your child. They're having terrible aggression at school. School nurses aren't being made aware of this. We've written in New York State to the School Nurse Association. I wish parents would also do that, not only report to the FDA, but also give our information to school nurses.
I'll have a link down below in the description on this video of ways that parents can report to the FDA. Are there any other things that parents can do that might help your cause of being able to put some pressure to get more research done on the side effects and the adverse events that you're seeing in children?
One of the things we just did is we've been trying to contact the American Academy of Pediatrics for years, and we just issued a press release, saying that we've been asking them to take action on this, to not wait for the FDA to complete their study. We've got 40,000 parents who are all reporting the same neuropsychiatric events. Tell doctors that these are possibilities. Tell them that the FDA has acknowledged that these behavior changes can occur in children, and get the word out through doctors so that they don't pressure parents into taking polyethylene glycol. So if parents wanted to share that with their doctors, with pharmacies, we've got a fact sheet that you'll give a link to, I'm sure. Bring these tools to your doctor and to your pharmacist and start helping educate where you can, and spread the word.
My experience, it was a pediatric gastroenterologist that's prescribed it to my son, and when I said this is causing these issues, he told me that it was safe as water, that it was an inert sugar that was not digested, and that it would pass through his body, and it could not possibly have caused these problems. But from talking with my integrative medicine doctor, what happens if you've got leaky gut, especially, and I think that there's cause for concern that this would cause leaky gut, but even, if the child is having constipation for other issues, like my son had undiagnosed celiac disease, he had dairy intolerances, he had low tone, he had a lot of things that were leading to this problem, but he already had leaky gut. So what was happening, we believe, is that the molecules were traveling, because the gut lining is only 1 cell thick. So when you've got little holes in between it, then things can travel that aren't supposed to leak into your system and go up to the brain. And that's probably why we're seeing so many neuropsychiatric events in children.
Well, and the FDA does say that they don't know what will happen with children. So they say that it is unknown if prolonged duration in solution, which you're mixing it in water to make a solution, if that would change the chemical properties of polyethylene glycol 3350, and what the actual content of ethylene glycol or diethylene glycol or other lower molecular weight PEG would be under such conditions. PEG products are available over the counter and can be used without medical oversight. So parents are kind of on their own if the doctor prescribes one that you can get at a drugstore. Little is known about whether absorption in children differs from adults, especially in children who are constipated, have underlying intestinal disease, if they already have leaky gut, or are very young. So if children are constipated, that can be related to things like leaky gut, and we don't know what happens. Children are receiving adult doses of PEG in some cases. No, in all cases, because that's how it's prescribed. They're not really cutting back. Children may be more susceptible to variations in PEG product quality. So if there's ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol in the product before you even ingest it, they're wondering, does it break down in the body? But if it's already a product quality that allows for that, children may be more susceptible, and effects of large doses of PEG given over long duration, weeks or longer, is not known. There's no research. Doctors will say there's research that this is safe. There's research showing it's effective because it will cause a bowel movement most of the time, not always, but never have neuropsychiatric events been recorded and studied and understood.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk to me about this and giving some resources to the people watching this video that they can do to be able to help spread the word, to be able to educate their doctors, because everyone has to remember that, doctors are just human beings. They have a lot of things that they are learning all the time, and they aren't necessarily up to date on everything that they need to be. So if you go in and you can talk to your doctor in a way that is, helpful, and this is information that I've learned, I've learned about these reports to the FDA. A lot of doctors may not even know that. So if they've heard it's safe and effective, and they haven't had that particular experience with some of their patients, they may not know. So I hope that the parents will work with their doctors to try to educate more doctors, because I think it's really important that the doctors are aware of what's going on, so they stop telling parents that this is the only option for them, because in a way it's just a band-aid on the problem. Any laxative is a band-aid on the problem, and like you said earlier, it's so important to get to the root cause of why this person is constipated in the first place, what's causing it. And any laxative is not going to be a long-term solution. It's just going to kind of gloss over the problem. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate all the work that you are doing to help spread the word on this.
Oh, my pleasure, Wendy. Thank you, and good luck to you with your work, sharing with parents and educating them.
Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.